Ah, good. Now, we can get back to this. Dead End Blues. It's been some time since your last visit at Red Hook. You should probably get back to D'Angelo and see if he's managed to figure out how to handle Sana. As you make your way up the stairs, you notice that D'Angelo's office is surprisingly quiet. You were half expecting something akin to a scene from The Exorcist, with Sana belching out curses and your companion sprinkling her with, well, whatever it is vampires use for holy water. What you witness instead as you open the door is the picture of Serenity. The girl, although still curled up in the corner, is sitting calmly with her eyes fixed on the pages of some pulpy detective novel. She doesn't even register your presence. Sitting behind his desk, Angelo seems to be looking over some files, puffing on his usual brand of cigar. Seeing no trace of Larson, you assume he must have gone back to his family. Noticing your presence, the vampire detective leans back in his chair and gives you a tired look. "Hey there, kid. Glad you could make it." "You kidding? I wouldn't miss this for the world." Clearly noting your sarcasm, he hits back with a smile that could express anything but amusement. "Right. Make yourself comfortable. We have some heavy shit to figure out, you and I. I've been going over the case files, mulling over our options. Surprise, surprise, they all suck donkey dick. No matter how we go about this, someone gets fucked over. Her, Larson, us. Okay then, lay it on me. What options do we have?" "Okay, let's polish this turd. Here's how I see it. 1, we grab Sana and take her to Elysium and make a case for her to Prince Panhard. 2, we get Valerie to back off by feeding her the dirt I got on Larson. 3, we try to get Sana out of the city. Come on, kid, I can hear them thoughts bouncing around your head from over here. Out with it." "You want to bring Sana to Elysium? Isn't that pretty much a death sentence?" "Pretty much, but not quite. If we can get an audience with Panhard, we might be able to convince her to spare Sana's life. The prince isn't as much of a hard-ass as some would like her to be. She'd probably rather avoid further alienating the Duskborn community. That said, if we run into Kadir, we're as good as fucked." "What kind of dirt do you have on Larson, anyway? Must be some serious shit." "Oh, it is. A few years back, the Second Inquisition led a coordinated assault in New York Kindred. Operation Lights Out, they called it. Nasty fucking business, that was. A lot of good vampires died. Some of them I knew personally. Larson was one of the Inquisition's first targets, but when they got to him, he managed to convince them to spare his life. In exchange, he fed them info on a fellow Camarilla member, one Nicky the Chop. Suffice it to say, Nicky didn't make it through the night." "Okay, time's a wasting. What do you think we should do?" "Wait, you're letting me make the call? Look, kid, I've been at it all day, mulling it over, and all I got for my trouble was a splitting headache. I just don't know anymore. All I'm asking is your honest opinion. Just pick one and make a case. Convince me it's the right thing to do, or the least wrong at least. So one more time, bring the girl to Elysium, trade her life for Larson's, or sneak her out of town. Which one would you go with?" "Bringing her to Elysium seems like the most reasonable thing to do. And the cruelest, or at the very least, the most risky. If we can't convince Panhard to give Sana a shot, the girl's as good as dead. Though it better be extra convincing. So be it. Fuck. Do me a favor, kid. Watch her for a few minutes, okay? I gotta make some arrangements, make a few calls." He catches himself, looks at you with an expression of the phoniest of phony guilt. But not like with a phone or anything, cause you know that would make me a naughty boy, which I'm clearly not. He walks out of the office. Through the frosted windows, you see him instantly go for a clamshell phone. Screw it. Does it really make a difference at this point? You turn to the girl who still has her nose in the book. "So, is that book any good? I don't usually go for this sort of stuff. It just leaves me cold." She looks up from the book and her eyes glazed over. "Cold." A shiver runs down your spine. You decide it's best to leave her to her reading and spend the next few minutes in complete silence. Finally, D'Angelo staggers back into the room. "Alright, I called a friend of mine who works at the art hole. She says the prince is there right now in her private quarters. We'll just have to figure out a way to get an audience." He walks over to Sana and crouches beside her. Speaking softly, he takes the book out of her hands and gently strokes her head. "Hey, darling, I need you to listen very carefully. We're gonna go on a little trip, okay? You need to stay quiet and stay close to me. Can you do that? Stay close to D'Angelo? She squints, trying her best to concentrate. D'Angelo? Close enough. Something akin to a smile creeps onto her face. It's as close to happy as you've seen her. Gift, not hurt. D'Angelo returns her smile. You're welcome. He turns to you, putting his serious face back on. He nods. Looks like it's go time. The art hole welcomes you with all its usual weirdness and grotesqueries, masquerading as contemporary art. Right now, however, art is the last thing on your minds. As the three of you make your way through the crowd of usual suspects, D'Angelo gestures towards a lone figure standing in the corner. To your surprise, it turns out to be Sophie. As you approach, she raises an eyebrow, taking an especially long look at Sana. And here I thought nothing in this world could surprise me anymore. Mind telling me what it is you're doing here? D'Angelo nods courteously. We're here to see Prince Panhard. I don't suppose you could help us get an audience? I think you're confusing me with the Prince's Herald. An honest mistake in this lighting. Still, I'm afraid you're out of luck. From what I've heard, the Prince is not accepting visitors. Please, it's a matter of utmost importance. I'm sure she'd make an exception for someone of your status. Appealing to my vanity, although appreciated, won't work this time. Like I said, the prince doesn't wish to be disturbed. Suddenly, you hear a voice from behind you. It's the last voice you could possibly want to hear right now. Maybe I can help. You look over to D'Angelo. He seems frozen in place, not able to move a single muscle. This is bad. Very bad. Keeping things casual, Kadir tips an imaginary hat in your general direction. When he looks at Sana, you notice his expression sour, if ever so slightly. Perhaps this is a conversation best held in private. Follow me. Before leaving, he nods at Sophie. Langley, Kadir. Again, you glance over to D'Angelo, but he doesn't even acknowledge you. He seems to be in a state of deeply internalized panic. Not seeing any way out of the situation, you follow Kadir into a small backstage area. There he stops and addresses you once more. It's good to see you, D'Angelo. It's been a while since you last showed your face around here. I see you've brought friends. So how about we skip the unnecessary drama and you two leave without incident while I take care of our thin blood guest. You don't have to do this. She can still be helped. Maybe, maybe not. But that ship sailed a long time ago. It ends tonight with me. It doesn't have to be this way. Just let's talk to Panhard. That's Prince Panhard to you, D'Angelo. And no, your harebrained scheme isn't going to work. What exactly did you think was going to happen? You bring the Dustborn with a blood hunt on her head to my doorstep and, what, hope that the prince stays my cruel hand? Honestly, I thought you were smarter than that. But I promise to make it quick. Painless. That's as much as you'll get, so don't push it. And with that, he turns to Sana. His expression grows softer, almost kind. He then grabs her by the hand gently. There's not even an inkling of violence in his demeanor. Come, my child. You've been very brave. The pain is almost over. Pain over? With blissful ignorance, she looks at you and D'Angelo as the sheriff walks her out of the room. Your companion looks broken, as if something inside him just snapped. Without even looking at you, he utters under his breath, I killed her. You gave it your all. Sometimes shit just happens and there's nothing you can do. Nice catchphrase, kid. You should have it printed on a t-shirt. A moment of awkward silence ensues. I really thought I could save her, you know? Not really knowing what to say, you lift your hand to pat him on the back. You stop yourself mid-motion. Somehow it doesn't seem like the thing to do. You leave the art gallery and head back to Red Hook. On your way, you keep thinking about Sana and whether now is the exact moment Kadir brings her final death. It's not a pleasant journey. Slowly, clumsily, you make your way back to the grain terminal. No words are spoken, no bad jokes made, no monologues muttered, no smiles exchanged. There's only silence and vacant stares. As you head up the stairs to D'Angelo's office, you can feel the tension rising. You can tell the moldy sleuth has reached a breaking point. He walks into his office and leans against his cluttered desk. You figure now is as good a time as any to break the silence. Are you gonna be okay? The moment you finish your sentence, D'Angelo leans over and sweeps all of his stuff off the desk. Notepads, bits of paper, and what looks like a cheap imitation of an antique lamp. It all comes crashing to the floor. Doesn't stop there as he grabs a heavy file cabinet and knocks it over. Slowly but surely, the once quiet office turns into a heap of crumpled paper and broken furniture. The tantrum lasts for mere seconds, but as you stand there watching, it feels like forever. Finally, D'Angelo stops and looks up at the ceiling. It's hard to tell if he's had enough or simply run out of stuff to throw around. As he stands there, slowly regaining composure, one of the objects scattered on the floor catches your eye. It's a small paperback novel, the same you saw Sana reading earlier tonight. Must have landed there while D'Angelo was giving the room a royal thrashing. You pick it up in huge letters. The title on the cover spells The Longest Night and Other Stories. Smaller caption underneath reads, Another collection of stories from the Gianni D'Angelo saga. What in the actual fuck? You flip it over and are immediately drawn to the picture on the back cover. If not for a lack of flaky skin and distorted features, you'd say the guy looks very familiar. The name next to the picture? Reginald Finch. You stand there not even knowing where to start. Even in his current state, D'Angelo, or whatever his name is, remains one step ahead of you. Yeah, that's me in the picture. Reggie fucking Finch. Haven't seen him in a while. Wasn't planning to. You named yourself after one of your characters? Afraid it's more than that. I sort of became him. See, Reggie Finch was a pushover. A small-time journalist and a wannabe writer. He would never survive out there among the Coteries of New York. Gianni D'Angelo, on the other hand. Honestly, just sorta happened. Guess it was the only way I could make sense of it all. I mean, once you wake up looking like this, realizing your life and all that you were is gone forever, you can't really blame me for trying to at least make it interesting. I guess to some extent we all put on an act in front of others. We make up characters, idealized versions of ourselves. It gives us something to live up to. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still weird, but it's not that weird. D'Angelo. For a moment, he seems to be mulling over what you just told him. Finally, he picks up the ashtray up off the floor. Rummaging through the ashes, he finds a mangled, half-finished cigar. He sticks it in his mouth and lights up the lighter's flame reflecting his shades. He smiles at you ever so slightly. Thanks, kid. Tell you what, how about you take the rest of the night off? I need some time to get my shit in order. Starting with this office. Some dumb assholes made one hell of a mess of it. You smile and nod. He nods back. I'll be seeing you. And so, you leave him to his thoughts. No way to be sure, but you have a feeling. He's gonna be alright.